Hey there, it's Tracy and thanks for stopping in. I'm joining a group of crafty Canadian YouTubers and we're celebrating this special day by featuring Canadian craft products and shops. We have a total of 16 shops and 2 Canadian papercraft magazines that have generously sponsored today's event, and we're giving away over $1,300 in prizes. After you finish watching my video, please leave a comment for your chance to win and then click on the link in the description below for the next person on the hop. Remember, the more you comment, the higher your chances are of winning. Please indicate where you're commenting from, as a few of the prizes are restricted to Canadian addresses only. All of the giveaway details are on Emily's blog, or if you get lost along the way, head over to Emily's blog for a full list of participants. You'll find that link in the description below as well. So let's get started. Today I'm also guest designing for Penguin Palace, a Canadian company located in Vancouver, Canada. Let me introduce you to the Stencils 360 tool by Penguin Palace. This creative tool allows you to use this large base along with round stencils to create unique designs. The tool comes with 6 sizes of paper positioners, which are acrylic circles with the centers cut out for the size of cardstock that you're going to be using. It also has 3 guide rings. It has a 4-inch, a 6-inch, and an 8-inch guide ring, which coordinate with the size of stencil that you're using. Today, all my projects are going to be using 8-inch stencils made by Penguin Palace, so let's have a look. I tape my tool down to my work surface so it doesn't slide when I'm stenciling, and I selected the 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inch paper positioner. I just slide it right into the base, and then I put an A2 size card panel into the center with repositionable tape on the back. Then I remove the paper positioner. The panel is right in the center of the tool, taped down, so it's not going anywhere. I'm going to be using 8-inch Penguin Palace stencils today, so I need the 8-inch guide ring to hold my stencil. For this card, I'm using the Lotus stencil set, and I'm using the largest 2-petal bloom. There is a symbol cut out at the top of each of their stencils, and you want to line that up at the top center point of the guide ring. I make sure the stencil is under the guide ring because you don't want to catch it when you're turning the stencil. You can carefully pop up the guide ring if you need to, and then use repositionable tape to tape the stencil down to the guide so that when we turn the tool, the stencil comes with us. Okay, just a little break here. A little hack for you when you're using blending brushes. I put my ink pads on squares that I cut from drawer liner. I made sure to choose a liner that felt a little bit tacky, and this way your ink pad isn't sliding all over the place when you're inking up your brush. Okay, starting off with Kitsch Flamingo, I'm going to ink up my blending brush, and then I'm going to start at the center of the petals, and I'm going to be putting more ink at the center and then just sort of brushing it lighter towards the tips of the petals. So making sure that I cover both the top and the bottom. And then I'm going to grab my microfiber cloth and wipe off any excess ink on the stencil before I go on to the next interval. Okay, moving on to the next rotation, we're going to turn the tool to the right to the next heart, which is an open heart in this case, and using Festive Berries, we're going to put more ink towards the center, lighter towards the tips. So lay the ink down, grab the microfiber cloth and take the excess ink off the stencil, and then we're going to turn to the next, which is a solid heart. Now I noticed as soon as I turned that I should have wiped more ink off, so I just moved the tool back to the last position and I just gave it another wipe off, and then now I'm moving on with Spice Marmalade. Get the ink down, and wipe off the excess with the microfiber cloth. Do as best you can, and then return it to the next rotation, which is an open heart this time, where we're going to do Wild Honey. So we lay the ink down, get the microfiber cloth to wipe up the excess, and turn the tool once more. This time it's going to be a solid heart, and we're going to start with Twisted Citron here, so we're moving into our greens. So put the Twisted Citron down. It's okay that it's going onto my mat behind. I can wipe that up after. Okay, so wipe up the excess ink, turn again, and this time we're going to an open heart, and we are going to use Salvage Patina for this one. Another new color that I absolutely love. So we'll get the Salvage Patina down again, darker at the center, lighter towards the tips. See, when you have the Salvage Patina beside the Twisted Citron, it really picks up kind of a more green blue. Okay, turning to the next rotation, and this time we're going to be using Chipped Sapphire as our next color. So I'm going to, which is really bold with the rest of it, but it actually ends up looking really good. So lay the Chipped Sapphire down over both spaces, and then grab the microfiber cloth, wipe the ink up. This is probably a good time to do a good wipe. Give it a good wipe, and turn the tool into the last position. And I'm on the last heart, and this time I'm using Wilted Violet. So we'll get that ink laid down. Wilted Violet is such a pretty color. Okay, get the ink laid down. I'm not gonna, I don't know, should I wipe it up? I guess it's always a good idea to wipe up so there's no after mess. And then I pick the whole ring up, and I'm moving this panel aside so that it'll dry, and I'm going on to our next project. I'm using another 8-inch stencil from Penguin Palace, and this time I'm using the Waterspout stencil, and I'm doing it on a 7.5-inch square panel. So too big to do a card with, but we can always cut from it. So I'm gonna just, once again, gonna lay my stencil in there, make sure that it's under the guide ring and tape it down. And then I'm going to use the same rainbow colors, and I'm going to start with the Kitsch Flamingo, lay the color down. There's a lot more space to fill in on this stencil. Take my microfiber cloth and wipe off the excess. And this time we'll do the exact same thing. We're turning to the next heart, which is an open heart. And we're going to lay down the festive berries. And I think now what I'm going to do is I'm going to speed up the rest of the ink blending, because you don't want to sit here and watch me do the same thing all over again. So I'm just going to speed that up and maybe put a little bit of music on for you, and we'll see you at the end where we're using our panels to make some cards. Welcome back, and these are the cards that I made with these beautiful backgrounds using stamps from Penguin Palace, supported by images from both Penguin Palace and Studio Katya, both Canadian companies, both fabulous. Thank you so much for stopping in, and you'll find the next stop on the hop in my video description below. Some of our sponsors have been generous enough to offer some amazing discounts and deals, and you can find all that information on my blog post as well as on Emily's blog. So thanks again, and happy hopping!